Kia ora koutou, ko Angela Caves tōku ingoa, no mai, haere mai. I'm Angela Caves and I'm the Digital Events Manager with Digital Boost, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Business Growth and Support Virtual Conference for the top of the South Island and the West Coast regions. We are on to day 3 of our conference. We've had 2 really good days. We had 5 sessions on Tuesday afternoon and 5 sessions yesterday. Today we're bringing you 5 more sessions with our government agencies. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join our webinar. I'd like to also welcome those joining on a live stream. So we're streaming to LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube this afternoon. All sessions of the conference are being recorded and they will be uploaded to a YouTube playlist. That playlist will be available for post-event viewing and it will be distributed out to all registered attendees. I'd like to introduce Joey. Joey is from Connected, and Connected is our collaborating partner on these conferences. Joey's just going to run through a little bit how the webinar is going to run, and then she'll be introducing our guest speaker. Thanks so much, Joey.
Kia ora, Angela. Tēnā koutou katoa ko Joey tōku ingoa no whakatū ahau. He mihi mahana tēnei kia koutou katoa, no mai, haere mai, ki te hui o Business Growth and Support Virtual Conference for Te Tauihu. Welcome everyone and thank you for joining us today. My name is Joey and I'm the Employment Liaison Advisor at Connected, based here in Whakatū in Nelson, covering Nelson, Tasman. Before I hand over to Holly from Te Puni Kōkiri, I would just like to point out a couple of housekeeping tips. Attendees can hear and see hosts and co-hosts, but we can't see or hear you. Any questions, if you could please pop these into the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, and these will get answered after the presentation from Holly. I'd like to now hand over to Holly, Regional Advisor from Te Puni Kōkiri. Kia ora e hoa, take it away.
Oh, well, thank you for the introduction, Joey. It is lovely to be here today. So kia ora koutou, no mai haere mai to the webinar around business support from Te Puni Kōkiri. I'm just going to start off with a mihi, then go and introduce myself, and then kick off into what the kōrero will mainly be around today, which is our flagship fund of cadetships. Okay, so tuia kei te rangi, tuia kei te whenua, tuia kei te nākau o ngā tangata, ko te mea nui, ko te aroha, te hei Maori ora. Ka nui te mihi kia koutou, ko tae mai nei, ko Waio. Ko arowhana te maunga, hoi a te waka o Harauta, ripo rere ana te wai o Kaitara. Tēnei nā tātai o te aitanga a Mahaki, tau mai ko Ngāti Whakarongo e mihi ana. He urio no te whānau o Parikōwhai, ko Holly tawa ki tēnei. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Okay, so I thought I'd kick off with a little introduction around who Te Puni Kōkiri, what Te Puni Kōkiri does and who we are, and the key people that operate in the Pākehī Māori space for Te Tauihu. So Te Puni Kōkiri is the Ministry for Māori Development, and we are the principal policy advisors on Māori wellbeing and development for the government. As mentioned before, I am Holly Parikōwhai, a regional advisor for the Mahi Whaioranga team. So I am based in Pariroa, but our rohe spans from Taranaki across to the Chathams, kind of down Wanganui, and then finishes off in Te Tauihu. So we do service that area. I'm just going to put apologies in on behalf of Maria, who unfortunately cannot make it here today. She is a senior advisor in the Māori Enterprise team and was going to talk around Māori Business Growth Fund. So I'll do a quick spiel for it here. Obviously, she has a lot more information about it because she's in the team that kind of delegates it. So I'll do my best. So the Māori Business Growth Fund is a fund. It's a smaller fund than the Cadetship Fund, and it helps support Māori businesses that have had accelerated trajectory to keep up with their intended growth. So her details are there, maria.kere@tpk.govt.nz, or you can contact me and I can direct you to the Māori Enterprise team. And then finally I thought I'd give a special shout out to Leighton Ngāwaka, who is an ambassador for the Mahi Whaioranga team down in Titoihu. So we currently don't have any kaupapa members operating on the ground. So Leighton is a great ambassador in the community to direct you to us if you need additional support for your business. All right, so our nako, or our vision, is that we lead, invest, and broker support for Māori communities towards economic prosperity. This is a very broad statement, and because we've got limited time on this presentation, I thought I'd narrow it down to why you're probably all here, which is investment opportunities and how Te Puni Kōkiri can help fund your business growth and business prosperity so you can move towards this economic prosperity. Right, so the main fund that I kind of work within is called the Cadetship Fund. So we have a whole website about this. If you type in www.tepunikokiri.com/cadetships, it will take you to the site. But I'll give you a run through, kind of a whakapapa around what it is about, how it can be utilized, and what we need to do to get you up to the point to access this fund. Okay, so what are cadetships? Te Puni Kōkiri's cadetship program was established in 2010 to support employers to develop, mentor, and train their permanent Māori staff at all career stages. The name cadetship is kind of confusing for some people because when you think of a cadet, you think of a young person, but the cadet can be any age and anywhere within their career progression. They just have to be employed on a full-time permanent basis and be Māori. It aims to bolster Māori-owned businesses and other employers to be more productive and highly skilled, supporting Māori to be more resilient to any changes in the economic environment. Obviously, we've had significant economic changes over the past few years with the interruption of COVID. So the cadetship can help kind of upskill kaimahi to strengthen your organisation to be more resilient to unforeseen changes in the economic sphere, such as we've seen with COVID-19. Just going back to how it was established in 2010, since that point, we've seen huge trajectory and growth with the fund itself. For the most recent financial year, there were 93 approved cadetship programs across the motu, so not just with Aotearoa, but across. And 77% of these were small to medium enterprises, so significant investment in this ecosphere. For the last financial year, Aotearoa, so Te Taihoaru, ran 24 of these programs, and we had the second highest amount of cadets being put through with an estimated number of 25%. So we are very familiar with this fund. We love utilizing this fund. It is the opposite of deficit-based. It is all about potential, all about where you see yourself going. So it'd be awesome if you could connect with us so we can get involved together and start the cadetship journey. But what really is it? So how can it benefit you? So cadetships work by providing up to $10,000 per cadet for employees to design, develop, and implement tailored training and development programs for Māori staff that will improve their skills, employability, earning, and provide opportunities for them to move into leadership roles. So put simply, what do we mean by this? We want you to kōrero with your kaimahi, or if you want to be the cadet yourself, kind of identify any gaps and opportunities in your skill set and how you can level up within the organisation to move into these senior leadership positions. What we want to see with this fund is a whole range of incredibly skilled Māori kaimahi across a whole range of industries doing what they do best. So the Cadetship Fund covers mentoring, which can be in-house mentoring or external mentoring. It is good to note that the cadetship program cannot just be in-house mentoring. You need kind of a range of different factors pulled in, so it's a kind of cohesive program. So it can't just be in-house mentoring. The Cadetship Fund also covers trainings and courses. again, this is a broad spectrum of what we could put in here. I've seen people cover like parts of their uni degree by getting funded for uni papers. If you're operating in the trades industries, we've put through, first aid courses, health and safety, working at heights, wheels, tracks, and rollers. I mean, people come to us from the beauty industry who want to upskill in the services and the range that they provide. So we've had kaitono do tattoo removal courses that are supremely expensive. We've had others do microblading for eyebrows because they want to increase their clientele. Gosh, we've just had such a range. There's been barista courses. So any external trainings or courses that you've identified that could help upskill your kaimahi and subsequently strengthen your business, let's have a kōrero, because it will probably / most likely be covered by the Cadetship Fund. So how does this come about and how does it work? Usually we'll connect with you, you'll connect with us. Well, our initial hui will be a kind of discovery session / kōrero. What's involved in this is you don't have to bring anything in particular. It's just what your business is, where you want to go with your business, gaps and opportunities you've identified where you think you could be better, and if there's any trainings or mentoring that we could help you access to bring up your potential. And essentially we create a pathway, not necessarily through cadetships. There's other funds such as MSD funds like Mana and Mahi Apprenticeship Boost. We kind of draw upon the whole ecosphere to create the strongest path, and cadetships can be utilized within this. Some kaitono come to us directly about cadetships, so that is absolutely fine. What was I going to say? Yeah, so cadetships are broad. We'll have our discovery session, and yeah, we'll help develop a personalized and tailored program to help offer you towards your moemoeā with your business. What we need is your legal status, so proof that you are a registered business. Usually we work with businesses that have been registered for 2 years, though this is flexible, but we cannot fund sole traders, unfortunately. We also need current financial statements / audited accounts, just to make sure that the company is solvent, and evidence of your organization's child protection policy if your mahi involves working with tamariki or rangatahi. Okay, so who can submit a proposal? So Te Puni Kōkiri welcomes proposals from organizations which employ Māori staff in permanent roles for at least 6 months with a structured and tailored training component. That's what we talked about just before. There should also be evidence of pastoral care and mentoring. Cadets are generally full-time, but we can consider part-time staff. So the full-time cadets have access to the full $10,000. If the staff is part-time, this will be prorated to reflect their part-time status. And we also would like to see evidence provided that the proposed cadetship program will improve cadet skills and employability and increase their opportunities for progression. How do you provide this evidence? Usually you lay it out in the application, which can be found on the TPK Cadetship website. So yeah, the evidence will come through when you're answering the questions for the application. Ideally, cadetship programs should encompass elements of tikanga to support cadets to increase their confidence and mana. What does this mean? So usually cadetship programs have a strong te reo Māori or tikanga element. We've seen this evidence through kaimahi upskilling with te reo through going through te reo courses, such as ones at Te Wānanga or Aotearoa or through their iwi. They also engage with the iwi through either wānanga or any courses that the iwi run to learn more about the whakapapa, learn more about their rohe. Sometimes consultants are brought into the business to see how they could strengthen their business with tikanga or the way that they operate, so it's more Māori based. And wānanga is another example of how cadetship programs can incorporate tikanga Māori or te reo Māori. It is highly recommended that there is a strong component of this within your cadetship application. Okay, so we may have gone over this already, but key criteria or key things to know. Cadets must whakapapa Māori. While the cadets must whakapapa Māori and we work with Pākehā Māori, we can also work with Pākehā organisations, but the kaimahi themselves need to be Māori. I have mentioned this actually. Cadets can be any age, so there's no age restriction for cadetship funding. Cadetship programs usually last 6 to 12 months. So when we first came on board, all the cadetship programs tended to be 6 months. With kind of the increase of the struggles of COVID, like Kaitono having to reschedule all the trainings and courses because, you know, the provider gets sick or you can no longer go in because of lockdowns. We've seen Kaitono kind of want longer cadetship journeys, such as 12 months. It also depends on what you do in your cadetship journey. If you're doing a paper and it's like 12 months then, or a course and it's 12 months, it would be better to do the 12-month program, obviously. This is a very key thing to note. Cadetships must go above and beyond business as usual activities. So what we don't want to invest into is your normal day-to-day mahi. What we want to see is additional trainings, courses, and mentoring happening on top of the business as usual mahi, to show that the upskilling of the kaimahi will result in an advancement within the organisation. And if it is your first time doing a cadetship, it is recommended that you start with 1 to 4 cadets. While it is an incredible opportunity, it can also be difficult to manage kind of all the trainings and courses and different things that the kaimahi are going on. So it's good to start kind of small to get a feel for it, get some learnings for your first journey, and then go from there. What can't we fund? So we can't fund government and local government entities, kaimahi, that work for these types of organisations. We can't fund kaimahi who have already been cadets. This is why we really emphasise having a strong kind of development plan at the start, so you get the most out of the opportunity, because you can only be a cadet once in your life. We also can't fund New Zealand apprenticeships, domestic or international travel, accommodation, or the establishment of roles to manage / administer an employer's cadetship program. Okay, so what would a successful cadetship journey look like? So we'd start off by having a hui, which would be the discovery session I mentioned before. After this discovery session, we'd send you an application and you'd have a go filling it out. It can be confusing, so just do your absolute best, send it back into us, and we'll go through it and give you any feedback if we need any more information. From there, we do Te Puni Kōkiri does an assessment, and we upload it into our system. The application then goes to National Office, and there is a committee at National Office that decides if it will be, your cadetship program will be funded or not. We then get the news, and if successful, we will send the contract out to you, which you then sign and return with an invoice, and we'll get your first payment out to you. So that's my presentation. Are there any questions?
Kia ora, Holly. I have a couple of questions that have come through. So that last slide, I'm just going to jump to the last question actually, and it talks, when just talking to that last slide, you were showing the process for the timeline. How long does it take for a cadetship to be contracted as successful?
Usually it takes 4 to 6 weeks. So the discovery session and getting the application usually takes a couple of weeks. And then when it gets sent to National Office, it usually takes around 4 weeks, just because they have to go through the whole motu, and there's a pipeline. So that part usually takes about 4 weeks as they try to work through everyone.
Okay, perfect. And then the next question is, what happens if a cadet leaves employment of the kaitono, the organisation?
If the cadet leaves the employment of the kaitono, the funds can be reassigned to a kaimahi that is within the organisation currently. So they can just be shifted over.
Great. And what do you need to do during the cadetship? You did touch on a lot of that stuff, but that's just one of the questions. What do you need to do?
So after the cadetship is funded, there are 2 reports that you need to hand in. one's an interim report, and the last one is a final report. And these just go over your journey, what your learnings have been, if you change anything, and what the successes were for the cadetship.
Awesome. And is the funding paid to the cadet or the business?
The funding is paid to the business.
Okay. Still coming through, sorry, bear with. And can you change organisations as a cadet? So moving from one beauty or trade organisation to another?
No. So it would have to be with the organisation that was contracted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you did answer these two, but just they are there. Do I have to be a Māori business to take on a cadet or qualify for cadetship funding?
You can be a Māori business to take on the cadetship funding, but we also can fund Pākehā organisations.
Awesome, thank you. And then the next and last question that I have, I think I can check in a second, is what age do you need to be eligible for the cadetship? And I think you said any age, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, you just have to be employed full-time.
Okay, I'll just check I've got everything. Oh, last one. Is there a minimum age to become a cadet?
Not that I know of. You can be rangatahi for sure.
Yeah. So 16, or do you think you could go younger?
I'd say 16.
Minimum 16, yeah, sure. And I think, just checking, that is all of our questions. All right. That is us. Thank you, Holly. Kia ora.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, can I just add my thanks to Joey's as well, Holly? It's brilliant presentation, a lot of good information there. And yeah, I just really want to thank you guys for joining us. It's a shame that your colleague couldn't be here, Maria, so please pass on our thanks for her contribution around the Māori Growth Fund. Is that correct? Hopefully I got that right.
Māori Business Growth Fund.
The Māori Business Growth Fund. So if anybody wants more information on that, you'll get a copy of this recorded webinar and you'll be able to get Maria's details off there. Thanks again, Holly, for joining us. Just if anybody gets stuck at all and you forget everything you learned and you don't know where to go, please head over to Connected. Joey is in the Nelson, Tasman region and has a great relationship with Holly and the team at Te Puna Kōkiri. So Joey will be able to point you in the right direction or do an intro for you. We've also got Connected Employment Liaison Advisors on the West Coast and in the Marlborough region if you do need to be connected to any of the agencies that have participated in the conference. Digital Boost is here supporting the small business community of New Zealand, helping organisations start a digital transformation journey. We have got a free learning platform that offers over 500 video tutorials. There's question and answer sessions with some of our big business of New Zealand. We have live workshops and a award-winning support team available from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. Monday to Friday to be able to help you with your digital transformation. So if you want to build a website but have no idea where to get started, contact our support team and we'll point you in the right direction. We've also got a new tool that has been launched. So if you do have a website, please go ahead and use Checkable. Checkable will run a full diagnostic on your website and it will help you optimize your digital footprint. So it will take stock of where you're currently at and it will help to create an action plan for you to increase your digital presence. That does bring our session to a close. So I just want to thank you again, Holly, for joining us. Thank you, Joey, for co-hosting with me this afternoon. Up next at 2 o'clock, we've got the team from the Inland Revenue joining us. And then later this afternoon, we'll be joined by employment.gov, business.gov, and last but not least, the team from Digital Boost will be doing an in-depth presentation on the platform. Thank you again for joining us if you've joined our webinar today or if you've joined us via our live stream. It's been wonderful to host you this afternoon and we'd love to see you in future sessions. Have a wonderful afternoon.